My brother's girlfriend has been cheating on him with our younger brother, should I tell him? Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, we've got a story from our /relationship_advice where Op's brother's girlfriend has been cheating on Op's brother with their younger brother. Before we start, if you have any personal stories of how you got out of a toxic relationship with your cheating wife or girlfriend that you want to share, feel free to email them to me. Let's get started. Original story. Okay guys, buckle up. We'll call the youngest brother Steve, and the middle brother Bob. The ex will be known as Gertrude. I'm coming to you because I'm at a loss on how to handle this. Maybe I just want to get it off my chest. All I know is that I don't have anyone I feel I can talk to about this. Steve is a bit of an asshole, but he is our asshole, and we love that asshole so damn much. He doesn't have any real friendships or relationships and tends to rub people wrong for being judgmental and tactless, but he is handsome, funny, and intelligent, and always sticks up for his brothers. He also seems depressed and jokes a lot about suicide. That might just be a military habit, but in the context, it worries me. Bob is a reservist with the Canadian Forces. He is currently on his first deployment out of the country, and has been for a few months. He is also handsome, intelligent, and funny, but is a social butterfly and has many good friends. He's been with Gertrude for nearly a decade, and while they had some rough patches, from the outside they seemed like they wanted to settle down. Steve, Bob, and I had an excellent relationship. Long story short, we spent a few years as kids where our parents were out of the picture, and it helped make us very close. I recently ended a long-term relationship and have been sharing the rent on an apartment with Steve for 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, Bob came back on leave, and we were all confronted with Steve being accused of sleeping with Gertrude while he was gone. A trusted friend was doing the accusing and had witnessed the betrayal, but all the same, it took us all a while to believe it, myself least of all. Steve denied it right up until proof was offered, and even then was adamant he was under the influence and does not remember it. Bob, being very much a family-oriented guy, in a fit of sudden maturity, puts aside his anger and forgives Steve, knowing in a week he would head back on deployment, not wanting to leave without trying to repair his relationship with Steve. He splits up with Gertrude, but forgives her, and believes their narrative of them being totally under the influence. He leaves her their apartment and buries the hatchet. I had a lot of respect for the way he handled the utter betrayal, and so I tried to respect his wishes when he said he wanted to put it aside and move on. Thing is, I'm friends with one of Gertrude's girlfriends, and I found out this week that she's been telling her, Steve and Gertrude have been going at it like animals the entire time, and are still at it. No one else knows. Steve has been going on weekend-long camping trips since Bob left again to finish his deployment, 3 months to go, but I happened upon his car during one of these trips while going apartment hunting. It was parked in Gertrude and Bob's driveway. It confirmed to me that Steve is a lot more full of shit than I had let myself believe. I still live with Steve. He acts like he's trying to reconnect with both myself and Bob. Maybe he is. He's told me before that he has abandonment issues he's trying to work on, and that he would probably kill himself if he lost his brothers. I feel torn between pity and fury at someone who would act like he loves us and has no one else on one hand and shoves a knife in Bob's back with the other. I feel like if I tell Bob about this, he might do something stupid. He's in a dangerous place and has always been the most emotional one of us. I also feel like if I confront and burn out Steve's lies, the little shit might do something stupid as well, especially now. He is isolated and his only relationships are with us and Gertrude. I'm furious, but he is still my little brother, and I'm genuinely worried. His behavior screams depressed and self-loathing. I'm sick of dealing with this shit. I'm heartbroken at losing the relationship and the trust I had with Steve, and I don't see a way out of this that ends without one of them shattered and dangerously emotional. I'm not sure I can just ignore it, but that might be the best course of action. Bob is healing and has buried the hatchet. Maybe I should too, or maybe I should just confront Steve privately, but what would that even accomplish? I feel like this is the rot that would fester if I leave it unspoken. Steve needs to get his priorities straight, and maybe get therapy for his dichotomous narcissistic and self-hating traits. What might you do in my shoes? Now let's look at some comments. Bees8383 Avatar. Stop making excuses for Steve, to begin with. Hiding it means you are an active participant. How do you think Bob will feel? Keep hiding it and lose both your brothers. The fact that Steve would go after his own brother's girlfriend shows his true character. Tell Bob. 100% tell him so he can get himself checked for STDs. This shit is foul on so many levels. I feel for your brother. Let Bob do what Bob needs to do. Let him handle Steve, however he wants to handle him. And support Bob. Not the girlfriend stealing brother. Nature Carolyn Gate wrote. Steve is either inventing abandonment issues as a manipulation ploy so you and your brother feel guilty about dumping him as a brother, or he does have abandonment issues, but he believes this is his get out of jail free card to get away with anything and not be rejected by his brothers. Either way, he is a manipulative prick. Bob needs to know about the two of them. If you were Bob and your older brother knew your younger brother was banging his girl, wouldn't you be equally pissed off at both brothers and want to go NC on both of them? Naturally_Aries wrote, I agree with you on the therapy. That sounds like your brother is very manipulative and needs to accept you and your oldest brother are very close to leaving him. And if that kills him, then he needs therapy to be upfront about what he is doing and you guys leaving will become a reality. Senzokai wrote, your brother, Bob, made his decision and left with a lot of hurt and unresolved issues. He forgave Steve for both their sakes and ended his relationship with Gertrude. Always chuckle at that name, so nice choice. Steve's antics have cemented his stance and persona to you and Bob may forgive him but he will never trust him again. Your brotherly bond is now broken. You and Bob are good but none of you feel unadulterated love for Steve. Now is when I free myself a bit. Unless you learn that Steve and Gertrude fell in love with each other and are genuinely happy, I'm sure you two think they're scum. You hate them both in part at least and all this shows you is that what happened to your Bob was a good thing because Steve is capable of doing this to your partners, before and after marriage. His antics are a conscious, planned, and deliberate attempt at gaslighting you for the sake of manipulating you into not calling him out on his shit and holding him accountable for the shit he pulls. I don't need to ask you whether his behavior sits right with you. I'll ask you if you can trust him around your partner, whether you have one now or will in the future. This man is a predator and Gertrude is even worse than him. If she talks about their escapades to her friends without any sense of decency or restraint, she will one day no longer be a part of your life because she'll drop him for the next hotshot or he'll drop her after using her. I'm certain she won't be in your lives one day. Whether you want the same for Steve or not, I'd advise you to start distancing yourself from him. This may seem like I'm encouraging you to abandon your brother and I am. The only one who benefits from this brotherly relationship is Steve and it is and will continue to be, at the cost of Bob and you. Tell Bob everything once he's back and blows back all inevitable backlash on Steve. Isolate him. Make him accountable for what he's doing. Gertrude will be history on your own, once you do. He isn't going to stand by Gertrude for this because he has shown he doesn't care about her. The only way I can excuse this is if Bob wasn't right for her, and even then, it could have and should have been handled differently. If it was, despite being the right way, there would be a strain on your relationship. If anything, it was likely that you and Bob may not be able to stand Steve anymore. You wouldn't be at fault either. This is worse and inexcusable. When something doesn't sit right with you, and you cover for Steve, your character will be called into question and this will hurt Bob just as much or more than what Steve did. You're supposed to be, and are, better. Don't jeopardize your bond with Bob to protect Steve. He isn't a child and needs consequences to change. Without them, he has no reason to. If you don't, Bob will lose respect for you too and then you'll have a fractured bond with both, and you won't be able to say you had no fault. Remember, this isn't just about Steve or Bob anymore. This is also about you and how you want to see yourself and be seen by others. You/crafty_998 wrote, tell Bob when he gets back from deployment. Usually, the sooner you know the better, but it may distract him and make him do something dangerous which could cost him his life if he's under this emotional influence. As for Steve, this is why he has no friends or real relationships because he fucks them all up. He deserves to hit rock bottom if you believe the confrontation will make him feel like that. Also, how do you know he won't try it on with your missus? He's betrayed one brother, he won't have a problem betraying another brother, so your loyalty to him should be extremely limited even though you love him because he is your bro. You can love someone and still make them face the consequences of their actions. Before we take a look at another story from our /relationship_advice where Op's wife has been emotionally cheating on him with her college crush, take a moment to like the video to show your support to the channel. Don't forget to leave your own opinion on the story in the comments down below. Second story. My wife had an emotional crush on a guy in college 18 years ago. But the guy did not accept her proposal at the time. But they have been in contact on and off all these years through social media. My wife told me everything about him and up until recently they were just friends. I found out yesterday that they have gotten quite intimate on social media for a year. I saw all her texts and the guy had been regularly asking for her pics in revealing clothes. My wife had sent cleavage-bearing photos to him if not anything more explicit. My wife's into spirituality and the guy has been portraying himself as spiritual, and that's where I think my wife is emotionally connected to him. At one point in the conversation, she told him, I am in tune with you. We are married mentally. Love you lots. Lately, they may have moved to much secure Telegram, so I don't know how far they may have gone. I was seething with rage, but I calmed myself down and approached this rationally. I have 2 kids and they must not be harmed in any way due to this. I admit that I have been so engrossed in work since I am upskilling myself and transitioning to a better position. I also have a night shift at work and 2 kids. This leads to me sleeping late in the night in another bedroom alone for almost 2 years. She sleeps with the kids early. Naturally non-existent sex life. While she has great respect and care for me and is always there when I need her, I believe she drifted away because of a perceived lack of emotional support and no sex life. Today I tried to get naughty with her and asked her for sex, and she was ready in an instant. We had a good time and she was totally into it. I want to save the marriage despite the heartbreak. That's why I haven't confronted her yet. Should I now? Or should I just reignite the sex life and further the emotional connection and hope remorse moves her away from him? I have to deal with this very pragmatically because both of our families also go along very well. Thank you for reading. Update. I confronted her without showing the evidence first and she said they do chat on and off, but it's nothing more than that. I then slowly revealed the chats and she looked all hopeless and said that she tried to stop him from crossing limits while chatting and not to chat in a specific way. I put my foot down and told her that she cheated nevertheless and that she can either leave or go no contact with that guy. In the above description, I wrote what I thought I read, and I'm pretty sure that's what I read, but according to her, the actual conversation was I am in tune with you. We don't necessarily have to chat like this. We are married. She said she meant we both are married and not that we are mentally married and that she could never say such a thing. She said she knew the whole thing was going wayward and had finally put an end to it, restricting conversations to casual friendly talk, and showed me parts of a newer conversation where she appreciated me and how happy she is with me. She then lamented that karma hit her nevertheless and I saw older chats. She said she has met him just once when she went to her native town along with other friends and had told me about the meeting. She did not let me know about any meeting, whatsoever. She said she has not met him in private ever. She was at home all the time at her mother's place as she was pregnant with our number 2. I asked her about the pictures and she said she had sent him normal pictures and showed me parts in the conversation where he was coaxing her to send revealing ones. She said she was stupid and delirious dead in the night to have sent him 3 revealing pictures. She said she realized it was a mistake and tried to steer away from the conversation with him to mundane topics. She said she tried to reconnect with her old friends after we moved to a new city and was hoping for some meaningful connections with people she knew for old time's sake. She said she had good memories of his college friends but now realizes that people change over the years and that the guy has turned into a creepy predator seeking cheap thrills. We both have the same passcode on our phones. So I scanned her phone and found no new conversations. I asked her to send the guy one last message not to contact them again and that I know everything. She did what I said and also agreed that the guy's wife deserves to know everything. Just before bedtime she broke down and apologized and said she didn't want to hurt me and that she wants me and loves me over anyone else. She said I am justified in seeking separation but that she wants to save the marriage. I said I honestly can't think straight and that I am heartbroken and that what she did was not right. She cried herself to sleep. Today morning she apologized again and said she was being stupid and realized during the convos that the guy wasn't the same college friend she knew and that he has changed and should have ended conversations earlier on. I said I want to trust her but right now I can't. I need some time. So, r/relationship_advice, do you have any advice for me? What should I do? Now let's look at some comments. BedQueen17 wrote. Please don't ignore the fact that she still tried to lie to you until she was confronted with proof. She didn't come to you with the truth or even fessed up on her own when you gave her the chance. I'm not sure how you could ever trust her again when she can't be truthful of her own volition. Viola Rook wrote. If she is sorry, ask her to see her phone that instant. Check for Telegram, Signal, Kik, Line, Kakao, or whatever else people use to message these days. If the app is password locked, have her unlock it. Check her recent pictures and deleted pictures. You need to know how far it has gone as you already have proof of her saying she is mentally married to another man and sending him racy pictures. Do not settle for her showing you her phone later as that gives her a chance to delete stuff. If there are any new texts, make sure the timestamps and conversation flow line up, because if they don't, she has been deleting them. Singisking211084 wrote. I am from India, the land of spirituality, self-discovery, and yoga. And let me tell you, the people who proclaim to be spiritual are some of the most despicable, phony, and fake people in the world. A truly spiritual person will never indulge in immoral behavior. The dude is just a loser who has watched a few YouTube videos and is now ensnaring troubled souls. Sorry for the rant, but I have watched people abandon their families and little kids in the name of spirituality. Fuck this dude. Kurt_1 wrote. After reading your update, I have to admit your wife's reaction after the confrontation was nearly ideal. She didn't hide anything, didn't lie in your face, or delete messages. She cut all contact with this guy when you asked and even agreed to talk with his wife. And she didn't blame you for anything. This kind of remorse is very telling and very rare. I know your trust is broken right now, but, in my opinion, this marriage is worth working on. Good luck. Sixfold wrote. Just read your update. That's some rough shit, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it sounded like you did a good job of setting your boundaries. I hope you do whatever makes you happiest, whether that's to stay with your wife or not. Take your time to sit with your emotions and don't worry about trying to trust her again. Just focus on yourself. Good luck. What do you think about all of this? Do you have any for the op from the first story? Also, do you think the op from second story should forgive his wife? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an upload.